E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Roadrunner Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network. Live from the Dignity Health Studios in downtown Bakersfield, California.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Welcome to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. Corey Costoli with you. Thanks so much for joining us once again on the program, as we got a lot of stuff to get to today on the show. We are officially sort of into the mix of Western Athletic Conference basketball play, and so we've got scores and highlights to get to from a busy weekend for the Roadrunners men's and women's basketball teams. And a lot of the winter sports like wrestling are continuing their schedule. We'll have all the scores and results from those. A busy weekend for them, and some of the spring sports are sort of getting rolling. Water polo as well. We'll talk a little about that on the program today as well, and a lot of things to get to on the show, as a matter of fact. And some great guests on today's program. We're going to be joined in the next couple segments, as a matter of fact, by our interim athletics director, Ziggy Siegfried, just back from the NCAA meetings in Washington, D.C., and just sort of a lot of stuff being, it's kind of interesting, a lot of stuff being portrayed in the media about what happened at the meetings, what some of the proposals mean for college athletics, and so we'll kind of sort through that. Of course, a lot of things being made about autonomy and Power 5 conference stuff, and what does it mean for those of us that are the little guys? So we'll chat with Ziggy about that coming up, kind of the effects both for an overall plan of the NCAA and the effects when it trickles on down to some of the smaller institutions and mid-majors as well. So that's coming up on the program today. Also on the show, we will talk with Gabriel Bertrand. He is a senior freestyler on the CSUB men's swimming team. The Roadrunners hosting their final home swim duel of the season. They're going to be at home on Saturday, and we'll speak with Gabriel about that, getting up to his final. He's been here 4 years now, so his final home match as a Roadrunner, home dual swim as a Roadrunner coming up this week. They're getting prepared for Western Athletic Conference Championships coming up in a couple of weeks, but we'll speak with Gabriel coming up at the end of the program today as well in the final segment. So a good show for you today. A lot of stuff we're going to get into from an issues standpoint with the NCAA and how it affects CSUB, and even some CSUB things we'll be chatting with Ziggy Siegfried about. And of course, as I mentioned, Gabriel Bertrand will talk some men's swimming and women's swimming as well, also in action this weekend, rounding up their home schedule at the Hillman Aquatic Center. So that's coming up on the program today. And of course, we've always got highlights, and let's start with that because it was a big weekend for men's basketball, starting Thursday at the Icardo Center, hosting New Mexico State. And we'll take you to the Icardo Center. Ali Ahmed was back in the lineup for the Roadrunners, and what a difference in this one. Pulls down one of his first of 10 rebounds on the night. Post play, important in this one, as the Runners going back to their basics of getting the ball inside as they find Kevin Mays down low. Mays had 18 for the Runners, as Ali Ahmed as well, having a good game, grabs another quick one off the glass. First game back in 2 weeks after that ankle injury, not looking too shabby. Key matchup all night, Ahmed versus Chalizi Napawe. He also just back from an injury. Ahmed going to get the win in the battle there with the banker off the glass. Runners get an early lead. But one thing about New Mexico State, however, is their size. All over the floor, long and athletic. Pascal Seacom, the drive and the finish. He had 11 for the Aggies, as they are just talented and, long and athletic everywhere. Remy Berry right here on the near side. Now they're going to feed him in the post. He's a forward from the baseline, the floater there. And the Aggies start a 10-0 first half run. Usually the post play a factor against New Mexico State, but the Runners match that well. But this game won and lost by the guard position. Jalen Arrington here going to convert his only shot of the day, though. He was 1 of 11 for the Runners. The guards as a unit just 5 of 24 in the contest. More inside ball from Napawe. He spins and finishes, and the foul. He had 8 in his return along with 3 rebounds. Runners respond with a Craig Jones jam that started a small run for CSUB. Runners then going to continue on that run defensively, creating a turnover, and then Kevin Mays, the outlet pass to Ty Corbin. Nice move around a defender, and the finish. Runners trailed by 8 at the half. Second half action for CSUB as more from the post. Kevin Mays is going to drive and pull up the baseline jumper. He was 6 of 10 from the field, but again, guard play the difference as Ian Baker for New Mexico State out on the wing, going to get this pass here eventually. And it was just the kind of night where Baker just had it rolling, driving, shooting. That time he gets one off the glass. Team high 19 points for New Mexico State. Runners then adding to that a little bit with one of their, as they work the ball inside, but then Bakersfield gets one of their 11 turnovers of the ball game, and those are easy points for New Mexico State. The long lead pass up the floor, the score and the jam lead back up to double digits. Runners now down 11, and they're going to go back to Ali Ahmed. Didn't let his touch get rusty from his time off. Nice finish there. The jump hook and a roll, and it's a 9-point game. Then the Aggies back up by double digits a few possessions later, thanks to this jump hook from Seacom. And then it's Javante Maynard trying to keep the Roadrunners into it with a double-digit game once again. Maynard going to get a nice steal. He's going to go the distance. He pulls the Runners within 8. That happened 3 times in the half, but every time that happened, New Mexico State had the answer. Ian Baker this time with the answer. The Napawe rebound, though, and the putback and the foul as the Aggies stretch their lead late from the free throw line. As the Runners fouling a little bit late in this one. Another free throw as they win 70-54. Here's Ali Ahmed on the loss.
They took tough shots, to be honest. They took most of the shots was contested shots. It's only second game. We just need to stay positive. We need to practice like we always do, like stay positive. Just don't put our head down and try to get our home games, all of them, and get a couple games on the road, and that will make a huge difference especially for the WAC, you know. Grand Canyon over there, I thought we was very close and we could win the game. If I played, I think I would be like impact the game and make our team have a chance to win the game. But I mean, I couldn't. I really tried the day before, but I couldn't jump. I couldn't move like I was going to move in the game. So I told Coach I'm not going to be as effective, you know.
First of all, I got to give them a lot of credit. I thought they shot the ball extremely well tonight. I thought our guys played with pretty good effort. Obviously they're a talented team. We could have played a little bit smarter on plays, but you got a coach that's smiling today because I didn't know when we would get our lead back. So, I'm excited about that because I went into the game unsure until about an hour before whether he was going to be able to play. Again, they're a good team. I mean, it's proven. So I think we've got some things that we can correct. I don't think our guys that shot the ball tonight, obviously we got to be smart if we play someone else, play a team that long and athletic again to do some things different. But I'm not lost in the thinking that this team has any reason to give up or we can't win the next game or we can't win games the rest of this year. But I know we've got to get more consistent play as far as shooting the basketball, and hopefully we'll get that. We had gotten that the last 2 games without Ali, and we had him back today, so hopefully we'll mix those 2 together and get back and get to playing well.
So a loss for the Runners on Thursday, and Coach Barnes kind of talking about getting back and playing well. They lose 70-54. Doesn't take long, though. They do get back to playing well because on Saturday, the Roadrunners able to close out the victory at home, their first Western Athletic Conference win of the season, 66-53 over Texas Pan American. 12 points and 11 rebounds from Kevin Mays, and the guards getting it done in this game as well. Runners shot 50% in the first half, slowed down quite a bit in the second, but got timely baskets and the home victory. So very important for the Roadrunners. Here's the upcoming men's basketball schedule. CSUB taking that trip to the Midwest, the long trip in the Western Athletic Conference. Runners at Missouri, Kansas City, Thursday, 7 o'clock Central Time, and the Runners will be at Chicago State Saturday as well as Saturday afternoon Central Time as Runners will go to Chicago State. Matter of fact, Kansas City and Chicago State both playing this past weekend. Kansas City with a 66-64 win over Chicago State, so they both played a very close game this past weekend. Runners will see them both this weekend. On to women's basketball on the road, and Bakersfield struggled on the road all season, and that continued again on Thursday. The Runners actually letting a 20-point lead slip in the second half where New Mexico State forced overtime. They outscored Bakersfield 16-4 in the extra frame. They win at 90-78, sending the Runners to their first loss in WAC play. Tana Outland with 18 points in the loss. Then on Saturday, trip didn't get any better for Bakersfield as they lose 77-60 at Texas Pan American. Tana Outland with 24 points in the loss as well. Outland just 8 points shy from becoming CSUB's new all-time women's basketball scoring leader, and so it looks like she will do that this week because here's what the Runners have coming up. They are at home via the mirror schedule. They will host UMKC Thursday at 7 o'clock as the Runners will host the the Roos at the Icardo Center, and then it will be Chicago State at the Icardo Center Saturday at 1 p.m. in women's basketball. As we mentioned, Tana Outland expected probably on Thursday to get 8 points and set the new all-time scoring record. On to Roadrunners Wrestling. Man, what a busy week they had. 3 duels in 24 hours. They lose first 32-5 to number 19 ranked Oregon State in Pac-12 action. Bryce Hammond, the lone winner for CSUB with a tech fall. Then the Roadrunners traveled to Arizona on Sunday, wrestled Arizona State to a 36-9 loss there in the matinee version of their Sunday doubleheader, I should say, and losing several close matches in this one. But then Bakersfield saving their best for last, rolling over Grand Canyon 45-0. It's the first shutout for Bakersfield in 5 years as they dominate Grand Canyon in what is a non-conference duel, with the Runners being a member of the Pac-12 in wrestling. But Bakersfield does get a win on the weekend, 3 duels in 24-hour span. On to one sport, the first spring sport to get underway, and that is CSUB water polo. They opened at the UCLA tournament this past weekend, losing a nail-biter to Loyola Marymount 11-10. There were 4 players with 2 goals apiece for the Roadrunners, including Nikki De Leon. She would have 3 on the weekend. Runners then fell to number 3 ranked USC 33-5 in the loss to the Trojans. So a busy weekend for water polo as well. They just got underway. I want to make a mention of this before we go to break, and Ziggy Siegfried joins us. Go to our website, GoRunners.com. Right on the front page, there's apparently they've launched this new mascot contest of the Western Athletic Conference, and it's basically a mascot popularity contest. If it was based on just sheer dance moves and ability, I think Rowdy the Roadrunner would run away with it. But it's a popularity contest, so Rowdy needs friends. Go to our website, GoRunners.com. You have until Friday to vote. It's a first round. It's kind of a knockout challenge, so it's Rowdy versus Bucky the Bronc from UTPA. And so let's make sure Rowdy at least gets out of the first round. Sometimes these popularity contests don't work out with CSU being such a small school, but at least we can get him out of the first round. So go to our website right now, GoRunners.com. Right on the front page, it says Vote for Rowdy. Click on that, takes you to the Wax Facebook page, and make sure you vote for Rowdy. It's really just needs to at least get the first round victory. Rowdy needs a little help right now, and so go to the website GoRunners.com and make sure you vote for Rowdy in the Wacky Awards Mascot Challenge, as Rowdy is trying to knock Bucky the Bronc out of the first round. So go to our website. You have till Friday at 9 a.m. to get your votes in. So that'll be up on the site. You can't miss it. And you can like Rowdy's picture. It was a nice picture of him in the Rowdy run, as a matter of fact. He's a very fit mascot, and he likes his runs and his weightlifting, and he's pretty good at the Rowdy run. So make sure you vote for us online at GoRunners.com. Takes you to the WAC Facebook page and vote for Rowdy. All right, we're going to step away and take a break. Wait, one more thing. I have one more thing. I forgot to mention this. I don't want to go out of this segment before I mention this. The Thankathon. Let's head to the Icardo room, because just last week, all you folks that helped support CSUB Athletics, well, you should be receiving in the mail here a nice little letter as we take you over to the Icardo room. And there you go. There's some student athletes practicing their penmanship here as they thanking. That's a stack of supporter letters as the Roadrunners are some of the student athletes thanking those folks that make their scholarships possible. Handwritten letters on, look at that, customized stationery with each athlete's picture on it. Very cool. And Josiah Castro talks about what this means.
The concept behind thanking our supporters is, we want a culture of thank you. Without the supporters' help, we couldn't be at the level that we're at. So we want to make sure that all of our supporters know how appreciative we are of what they do for our student athletes. Well, our donors support the education of our 300-plus student athletes, so we want to know where their money's going. We want to show them where their money's going. So we want the calls to be from the student athletes. We want the letters to have a picture of the student athlete so that people know who they're contributing to, what they're getting their majors in, what sports they play. It's building a connection between our donors and our student athletes.
There you go. So thanks to all those of you who donate to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, and you're going to be getting those in the mail as well. Thanks from student athletes. So, and more of that. Plenty more thanks coming your way very soon. All right, we're going to step away and take a break now. When we come back, Ziggy Siegfried, our interim athletics director, going to join us. Recapping the NCAA meetings. We'll talk some CSUB stuff as well as Roadrunner Rundown continues. We'll be back.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools. And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
Welcome everyone. Nissan of Bakersfield has everything for the perfect car buying experience. Like our beautiful showroom, full of the most popular Nissan models for you to explore. And our fully stocked parts and service department from everything from genuine Nissan accessories to factory-trained service technicians to keep your car running its best. Plus, our massive inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles means you're guaranteed to find the right one for you. Nissan of Bakersfield is where you should buy your next car.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, transportation, and more. Visit kernbusinessjournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly business journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on kernbusinessjournal.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at orleansarena.com.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community, a tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. Still to come on the program, Gabriel Bertrand is going to join us, CSUB men's swimming. He is getting ready he's a senior. He's getting ready for his final home duel coming up this Saturday at the Hillman Aquatic Center. We'll talk to him about that, some of his memories as well as international. Came from Sweden, so we'll talk with him about his last 4 years in Bakersfield and preview this weekend's action for men's and women's swimming. But first, fresh back from the NCAA meetings, Washington, D.C., right? Is that where they were this year?
Yes, it was.
Nice.
It was cold.
I was going to say, that's like Washington, D.C. in the fall is great. Spring is nice. Summer is a little warm. Wintertime is just miserable.
It was. I got to see some snow, though, so that was nice.
There you go. Yeah, it's the great part about snow is when you live in a place you get to leave it and
That's
come
right.
back home. Ziggy Siegfried, our interim athletics director. Welcome back from the NCAA meetings. What was this was your first as El Patron, as they say, the boss. So what was it like?
You know, it was great. I will say I learned a lot. When we first got to the convention, there was ADs at all levels. There was ADs who had been in the field for 20-something years who seemed a little confused on exactly what was going to be the final look of the NCAA. Yeah. But what I come back with is a very simplified answer that change had to be made, and I'm glad that the leaders in college athletics made the decision to stand up and make maybe what was seen as a drastic change, but I believe it's what's best for all. I think there's 460,000 student athletes, so it was a great experience.
So the major issues that's really on everybody's mind, and probably what the media took away most from the meetings was the autonomy aspect of it. And we've talked about it before, but basically they took the top 5 conferences as far as BCS, what used to be BCS level football, whatever, and they kind of let them branch off. It's the 65 presidents of the schools, 15 student athletes as well represented, and they have a bunch of different areas where they're allowed to propose legislation and vote on it and make it happen. And so that was a big topic. Cost, I think, was an issue, right? That was probably the most that they sort of talked about and voted on in their meeting.
It was, yeah. It's obviously what was proposed by the Big Five and also passed. There are going to be some financial challenges for some schools.
Yeah.
Even in the Big Five, I'll be honest with you, not everyone's at the same level. But yeah, a lot of it was around increasing the amount of money a student athlete can get. That was probably the one that got the most attention from a media standpoint, although there was a lot more proposals in that one.
Yeah, and that one was the cost. That was to actually fund the cost of living, the entire experience, not only basically help cover non-university generated bills, which could be what, rent, and that I think is probably what people are concerned about. Where does that stop, baby?
Yeah, and that's what was confusing to a lot of people. And they're, being candid with you, they're still trying to clarify some of that. But what it is determining what is the cost of attendance for each student athlete. Are we going to include when they have to go home for the holidays?
Right.
Are we going to have to include, what if one student doesn't have a car and has to take a taxi every day? There's a lot that has to be determined. And I think there's going to be some flexibility there that's given to these programs to determine what their cost of attendance is. And that cost of attendance could be different based on what the student athlete's situation is.
And where they live. I mean, obviously, their cost of attendance of somebody at USC or UCLA is going to be different than somebody going to Washington State in Pullman, Washington. I mean, just within that conference, or even within, you brought up the cost within maybe the SEC. I mean, somebody who has their costs or what they're available at Auburn probably isn't available at Mississippi State. So you're going to see, I think, probably just within – I don't know if the autonomy is going to be the answer, because there could probably be a lot of infighting within the infighting.
There is. And the thing is, the thing that people missed about the cost of attendance is the fact that we're not all blindly going to make this decision. That's why we have financial aid offices.
Yeah.
So the financial aid offices on campuses are going to play a huge part in all the decisions based on cost of attendance.
I know guarantee scholarships were thrown out there as well. Basically, somebody comes in, the scholarship becomes a 4-year commitment, not renewable every year, as most institutions are. A few Pac-12 schools, USC, already started guaranteeing the 4. That one, I don't know where that one kind of falls. I mean, do you see a lot of smaller institutions doing that? Or, I mean, is that something that probably, most small schools won't afford to do? They like that leeway.
Yeah, and I believe what's going to happen in the next few years, you're going to see a lot of the non-Big Five move to basically the proposals that the Big Five are doing. I do believe there's going to be a lot of smaller schools that go to the Guarantee 4.
Yeah.
Because what are you telling the student athletes? The rule to only give a scholarship for 1 year, that was set 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see that as everyone gets their finances in shape and they get some better clarity on these new proposals, I think you're going to find that a lot of schools are going to do the same.
Could you almost, from a devil's advocate standpoint, say though that a 1-year scholarship is basically training you for a job market? I mean, if you don't perform in your 1 year, then just like when you grow up and get a job, you don't perform, you're going to get fired and you're going to go elsewhere. So you could maybe say maybe we're babying them too much if we're giving them a 4-year guarantee, because nothing in life is guaranteed. You got to be good in order to get guarantees.
That's true, and it's funny you say that, because oddly enough, the rule, there's a proposal that was put out on whether or not institutions can get rid of a student athlete for athletics reasons.
Yeah.
So you would think all the student athletes were like, yeah, you're not getting rid of me for athletics reasons. The student athletes were actually the ones that stood up and said, no, we want our coach to be able to get rid of those student athletes who aren't performing.
Right.
So and the SEC voted 11-2 against that rule. So you're right. That's a good thing.
I think there's student athletes that are like, I want to win too. I mean, I'm here to win. I'm here to go to school. I'm also here to win. I want to make sure I got people around me that can win, especially if you're looking at a football team, a lot of scholarships, a lot of moving pieces. So I mean, that's definitely interesting as well. The way it's going to go now is basically anything voted by those guys can be adopted by other conferences should they choose. I mean, anything you maybe see coming down the pike as far as from the Western Athletic Conference standpoint, schools that maybe in our conference could look to adopt?
Absolutely. I'm very confident that the new concussion protocol is going to be adopted by the WAC. That's not done yet, but that's just another way to make sure that our protocols in place are checked by a third party, and that's what's best for the student athletes. That one will be adopted. I believe all the other proposals that passed will be an institutional decision. Now, that could change in the next 3 to 5 years, but as of right now, the only one that I think the WAC will mandate, based off of what the commissioner told me, is probably going to be the concussion protocol.
Good. No, it's definitely a good one. Now, I know Dr. Mitchell was with you. He just wrapped up his term, right, on the legislative board, or as representative of the Western Athletic Conference.
Yeah, he's part of the NCAA Division I Board of Directors. Yeah. And I told him this on the way back last night. I mean, he's a part of history. These are the biggest changes that have taken place in a long, long time, and they're shaping the future of college athletics. And it's awesome to have our presidents being part of that critical moment.
Yeah, not that he needs that to add to his resume. I mean, he's got plenty of things on there already, but he can. One more little thing. Did he seem like he enjoyed the time doing that for, being that representative for the WAC and doing that in the last couple of years?
He did. You could tell he was very happy. They gave him President Emmert gave him a beautiful gift for his service, and you could tell it was something that he was very proud to be a part of, and that leadership is helping shape college athletics to be very beneficial for the student athletes, and that's what it's all about.
Nice. No, it's definitely a great thing, and it was nice to have him on that board. Who does it get passed down, or does it get voted on again? Or who's going to represent the WAC on that deal? How do they do that?
Yeah, I believe there's going to be a recommendation made, is my understanding, and then there will be. I don't necessarily know that there will be a vote. It's more of just a confirmation that people agree with the choice.
Yeah.
And that's my understanding. I could be a little off on that one.
Nice. And it's usually always is it always a university president?
Yes, but
because your boy's available. I mean, I could make some stuff happen.
Well, they brought your name up. It was they brought your name up, and
I bet they did.
So you're right there.
I'll bet they did. All right, we're gonna Ziggy, stick around one more segment. We're gonna talk some more CSUB specific stuff actually as we roll on the show. You good?
I'm good.
Got
Thank
a few
you.
Minutes. All right, we'll be right back, folks. More with Ziggy, and also still to come, Gabriel Bertrand going to join us, CSUB men's swimming. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
BHS, EC, CSUB.
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing
we can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
I am not going to ask him about funguses.
Fungi.
Honey, have you called Gun Nuts about fixing that toilet upstairs?
I saw a plumbing episode on the Fix It channel. Yeah, I can fix it.
You could try it yourself, or you could just call Gunlax and save your marriage.
Hey, honey, I think I did it.
Gunlax, 327-3052.
That wasn't so bad.
We've never done marketing. It seems to be a little intimidating. You don't know what's available. You think you're going to sell your first child, or it's going to be really expensive to do. But Heather really described everything in a way that we knew exactly what we were doing. There was no questions about it. She was very clear.
I really, really enjoyed that Heather took her time to get to know us as a family, get to know our business. From anyone that I do meet, I like to get to know them.
We knew exactly what we were getting into, but really the results of it was far more than we ever expected. I think it brought us to the forefront of most people's mind. So they heard our name, and then all of the videos and pictures, the Bakersfield Live, put a face to the name, and they were able to connect that and know what our product was, but also know us as a family.
Because of the Bakersfield Californian and because of Heather, generated so much buzz about our restaurant that we couldn't have done it alone.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at OrleansArena.com.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes, we're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to GoRunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
We are back on Roadrunner Rundown. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. Get the show anytime at GoRunners.com. Hey, by the way, go to GoRunners.com and make sure you vote for Rowdy. He's part of the Wacky Awards, and you just got to like his photo on the Wax Facebook. Go to our website, click on the Vote for Rowdy link. It'll take you to the Wax Facebook page, and make sure you like Rowdy's photo because he's trying to get out of the first round of the Wacky Awards Mascot Challenge Group Deathmatch. So hopefully he wins round number 1 at least. So go to the website, GoRunners.com, and do that. All right, interim AD Ziggy Siegfried continues joining us on the program. Back from the NCAA meetings, we covered a lot of that stuff. We were trying to keep it kind of not. I don't want to use the term dumb it down, but we kind of were because it gets so techie and it's just like trying to talk to a computer engineer about what's wrong with your computer. Mm-hmm. So we were trying to keep it simple because it just. I mean, it really can get out of hand.
It can. It's very complex, and quite frankly, there's different people that have different views on what these rules are going to mean, and they go into effect. I believe it's August.
Yeah.
So it is. I think we simplified it, but we still covered it.
One thing that was voted on at the Division II and III level was adopting sand volleyball as a championship.
Yes.
Division I actually did that in the fall. They'll play their first championship in 2016. The Volleyball Association runs it this year. But, we were kind of first on that bandwagon. So it's kind of cool to see sand volleyball actually get official status across all 3 levels of the NCAA.
It is. It is. And I think they're going to start calling it beach volleyball, right?
Yeah.
I know
I guess
that's still up for discussion maybe, but I believe that's the route it's going.
There you go. Works for me. And by the way, we'll have more on that coming up next couple of weeks. Our sand/beach season gets underway here very shortly, so we were talking about that. All right, some CSUB things coming up. You had talked about this the last time you were on the program, and I wanted to kind of, officially talk about it. Just we talked a lot about the academics numbers and a lot of the great performances for CSUB. This is the list from the WAC that came out earlier this month. The Roadrunners with I think 14 academic all-conference student athletes as well, and then just some of the highlights. Let's see. The fall term GPA for all teams was just below a 3.0. The CUM was just a few 2.94, just below a 3.0. That's the highest cumulative GPA ever for the Roadrunners. The department also reached the fall term 2.90, improvement from 2.82 from last spring. Women's golf team, highest GPA for the fall, 3.32. Yeah. Women's soccer, softball, women's swimming, and diving all had a 3.0 or above for the fall term. Men's golf was the highest, 3.34. 158 student athletes, that's over half. Yeah, a 3.0 or above, an improvement from 103 last spring. And of those 158 students, 93 were on the dean's list. 10 had a 4.0. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I love it, Corey, because I'm finding our student athletes, they're competitive on the playing field.
Yeah.
Now they're competitive in academics. I ran into our women's golf team the other day, and they had a 3.32, I think it was. They barely got beat out for first place by men's golf. And they're just sitting there, they're shaking their heads. They're like, we are so upset that they beat us by 0.02. I like the competition.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, I had one of our coaches from water polo come in and said, I met with our team. We reset our goals. Here's what we're going to do the next quarter. I love bringing the competitive aspect to academics.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
I mean, look at right now, just some of the teams that are competing right now. Look at the fall Dean's List players. Jalen Arrington, Cortez Connors, and Brent Rapp from men's basketball all on the Dean's List. Alyssa Shannon from women's basketball on the Dean's List as well. Wrestling just lives on the Dean's List. I mean, they have quite a few guys that were on the list. I mean, it goes on and on. Kyle Anderson, Barber, Timmy Box, Correa, Ruben Franklin, Matt Gamble, Cole Hammond, Spencer Hill, Ian Nickel, Matt Williams, all Dean's List guys. And then, I mean, it was just a great fall academically. I know you touched on it before, and we actually had all the official numbers in, so definitely wanted to brag about that a little bit. Real quick, you've kind of been in control here for the last several months, and I know a big part about what you've been trying to do was just really continue the culture change. It always talks about a culture change in leadership, and just talk about some of the things that you've been trying to do. Tell the folks about some of the things you've been trying to do to sort of change mentality, culture, attitudes around CSUB.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've probably been most proud about in the last 6 months. The academics, which we've talked a lot about, but then the department culture. I've seen a change in my opinion. I believe if you set the right culture, they'll help you accomplish the goals that you have set.
Yeah.
But I believe you have to have that culture. So, as you know, we asked everyone in the department to consider reading a book called The Energy Bus, which I have here today. So almost everyone has read this.
Yeah.
And what they do after they finish it, they come in, talk to me a little bit about it, and then they sign the bus ticket, which is right here, which I have Corey already has signed this, so I won't have you re-sign it.
I think I signed it, boom, on the bus, and then I signed my name.
He did. He actually put a little quote. But that's the thing. What this book talks about is, yes, having a positive attitude. This might seem a little interesting to say this, but loving each other. Doesn't mean you have to hug each other, but, love each other. It talks about, all working together towards the same vision and goals.
Right.
There's so much in here that relates to our department, and I feel very good about the direction that we're going. I try to fit in about 4 meetings today of people who have finished the book who want to come talk to me about it. And I met with Coach Bob Macaluso from baseball today, and he just absolutely loved it. And it's given me the opportunity for those staff members that I didn't know very well. I've been able to get to know them more on a personal level. They'll share things, about what's going on in their lives and stuff like that. Because what separates us at CSUB, in my opinion, from everyone else, there's a couple things, but one thing is we're family.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that we spend more time with each other than we spend with our families.
Yeah.
And this book has been a very, I think it sent a strong message. It shows people what I would like to see.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it gives me an understanding of what they think about how things are going. So I'm proud of our staff for reading and coming to talk to me about that.
There are definitely things, and every little bit when you read these books, they give you so many, rules and stuff like that, and you can't remember all of them unless you read the book like 12 times, like Ziggy has. But when
true.
you read it once or twice, you get there's a few things that always stand out. And really, the biggest thing that I pointed out that I enjoyed was really just the aspect about the excitement. I mean, it does get tough, and I think people don't really understand that. But, you have a team that's doing well, and then they go on the road and they lose a couple games, and then they're coming back home, but you still want to be excited for them. You want the fans to still be excited for them.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing about college athletics, it changes in a second. I mean, momentum shifts in sports, period. I mean, look what happened in the NFL on Sunday. Momentum is fickle, and it will shift in a heartbeat. And so you got to continue to be excited. I mean, we could lose every game one week, and then I got to come back and do this show, and I just can't be here to like, well, we lost this week, and so it you can't do that for an hour. I mean, no one would watch, and so you still have to really be excited about your job, and I think that is something that I definitely took away from it. And then the family aspect you talk about, I was thinking about that the other day. I really don't. You hear that from student athletes that come in. You say, why'd you choose Bakersfield? Especially folks that might have had bigger offers, and they'll say, well, I came on my visit, and I was really taken aback by the family atmosphere. I mean, we've got a swimmer coming up on the show, Gabriel Bertrand, been here for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That whole swimming family between the two teams is amazing. And so you see that. I think the student athletes actually notice that, and they choose Bakersfield a lot of the time because they just like the family atmosphere.
They do, and that's the thing. One quote in this book that really hits home is how you put the perspective on things. You have some people out there who every day they dread waking up going to work.
Yeah.
Their comment is, oh, I have to go to work today. I want our comment to be, I can't wait for the day I get to go to work today.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of, people that don't have the opportunity to have a job. And quite frankly, what better job is there to work in college athletics?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I do. I love coming into work every day. I'm not trying to say that there's not those times where we have some situations come up that can be tough to handle. But
Right.
overall, we're in a great situation, and we're also winning. We haven't talked about competitive success in a while,
Yeah.
but I want people to realize that this culture that we're building is also going to lead to championships.
Yeah, and matter of fact, cheap plug, but now available. My latest Roadrunner Connection column in the Tehachapi News focused on that, like the reflection of success when you kind of get. Because I've been around here a long time. And you get to a certain point when you look back, and I'm thinking just about men's basketball's win over Cal and the exposure we're getting nationally on television, and you kind of look back at the long distance that's come. I mean, women's basketball, they lost a couple this past weekend, but no doubt they're going to be right back in the thick of the hunt. And volleyball winning and going to the NCAA tournament, like you look back on all that stuff. I mean, that in just a short amount of time, the wins have come, and you look all the way back to where this program started as a Division II. To where it is in a matter of just 30 years. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
But definitely, you can check that out. TehachapiNews.com. Very cheap plug. It'll be on our social media. I'm sure someone in charge of social media will plug the heck out of that. Nonetheless, what do you got? We got a few things coming up from a fundraising standpoint I wanted to mention. We had a good concert in December. A good fundraiser there. Hot stove dinner went well with Mike Soshai here.
It did, and we're getting the final numbers as far as money raised, but it was huge last year.
Yeah.
And this year it went to a whole nother level with attendance. We raised a lot of money for our baseball program, and quite frankly, the people just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Everyone who comes up to me, and once again, I mean, Mark Mays, who likes to be behind the scenes, our assistant AD for special events, really stepped up, and we had a lot of people on staff who helped him, and it was a success.
Yeah, great. Both those great fundraisers, and we'll have those full numbers out shortly. And coming up, our next special event, because we just go from one to the other, and we'll have details on the website here very shortly. But February 23rd, Seven Oaks Country Club, we've got the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund Golf Tournament presented by the Golden Empire McDonald's owner-operators and Coca-Cola, benefiting the Ronald McDonald House and, of course, the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund. This is always a great tournament, great time. We've got a wonderful dinner as well, and the team entry is $750 a foursome. Green fees, carts, range balls, lunch, dinner, beverages, participant gift, goodie bag, and a hole-in-one contest as well. And so sponsorships and all that stuff, along with the team signups will be available at GoRunners.com, but this is always a fun tournament.
It is. It'll be a blast, and I'm going to have to talk you into playing again.
I don't know if I'm going to play this year. I'm not good at golf. Like, I don't golf enough. I have friends that golf, and they're always, I'll go with them every once in a while, and I stink to join up. Like, I always play in this tournament, and I play with golfers that are good, and I just feel like I'm just out there, enjoying the free beverages and not playing golf. I'm not good at golf. I'd rather just hang out in a cart and, I don't know, shoot a video segment for the show. I'm just not good at golf.
All right, I'll ride with you then.
I'll just hang out and I'll just host the award ceremony afterwards and have fun. I don't know. I just don't golf enough. I don't have time. Who has time to golf? I mean, come on. You have to be an AD to have time to golf. You don't have time to golf.
I knew that was coming, by the way. I hadn't played in 7 months.
I know. Yeah, I will say this, you play a lot less golf than our last AD does. I'm just going to say that right there. All right, Ziggy, thanks so much for joining us, and I'm glad you had a nice experience at the NCAA meetings, and now you're off with us to the Midwest, are you? To Chicago and Kansas City with basketball.
And I can't wait. Our team, I look forward to these next 2 games. They're big ones.
By the way, I prepared myself because this came from Richie Grant, our men's soccer coach. He gave me a nice, soccer guys love scarves. They just love scarves. And they're from Ireland, too, so they love scarves. So I told them I would definitely wear this when we go to the Midwest. So I wore it today to actually practice for being cold because it's supposed to be a little chilly in Kansas City. Chicago.
Nice. I have one, too, so I'll wear mine.
So, there you go.
Twins.
Is this how you wear it?
Yeah, that works.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it look like Devil Wears Prada. I'm not really a scarf guy, so
I'll show you off air how to put it on.
All right, that'll work. We'll go to the commercial like this. All right, looks good. We'll be back. Thanks, Ziggy. And still to come, Gabriel Bertrand joins us. We'll talk men's swimming. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
East High! BHS! EC! CSUB!
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, transportation, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly business journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at OrleansArena.com.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community, a tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
We're back on Roadrunner Rundown. I gave up on the scarf. I'm going to wear it. I'm just going to wear it like I did, like the Red Baron, as a World War I aviator. Do it that way. It's easier. Welcome back to the program. My thanks to Ziggy Siegfried for joining us in the last segment. Next week on the show, by the way, getting into the spring sports previews. There's so many spring sports, it's hard to put them all into a preview episode like we did with some of the other seasons, but we'll definitely be getting all the coaches and several student athletes on as the seasons get underway. Chrissy Buck, our head softball coach, will join us on the program next week. And Corey Versus returns because I'm going to go and actually filming that this week. I'm going to go actually attempt to become a slap hitter like you see a lot of those run up those gals do on the softball team. We're going to give that a shot next week on the program, so make sure you join us. Joining us now on the program now, he is getting ready to swim his final home meet as a Roadrunner, as Gabriel Bertrand joins us on the show, a 200 freestyler for the Roadrunners. Welcome to the program. How you doing?
Thank you, Corey. I'm doing good.
Well, so your final home swim is Sunday. I mean, give me your thoughts on that. I mean, you've been here 4 years. I mean, it went by pretty quick, doesn't it?
It really does. I'm so excited to finish up my season and finish up my swimming career, but it's going to be nice doing it in front of the home crowd and a good meet where we'll have some good swims and everyone's getting ready for our conference.
Yeah, UC Santa Cruz, 11 o'clock at the Hillman Aquatic Center on Sunday. You've been here for 4 years. You came from Sweden. What's this time kind of been like? Obviously, you took some time to adjust and then kind of fall into American life, so what's the time been like?
It's been fantastic. It's been the most eventful years of my life so far. It's been really, really awesome to focus on swimming with being able to do studies and everything and getting my education done at the same time.
Yeah, because I've understood it, that, I mean, we think about that all the time in the States. It's like, oh, you go to college, you're a student athlete. This doesn't happen elsewhere, and obviously it doesn't happen in your native Sweden as well.
We don't have college athletics, and we don't have high school athletics in the same way.
Mhm.
We only had 1 or 2 high school swim teams in Sweden, and it's like it's more of a high performance center than it is like you go on duels and stuff.
So I mean, for example, if you were back in Sweden and you wanted to go to kind of I guess you want to be a swimmer, that would be your life, right? You get out of high school and then boom, you're right into a swim academy or whatever it might be.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's really hard to keep going after you finish high school because that's kind of when you have to pick.
Yeah.
Either get a job, go to university, or keep swimming.
Wow. Crazy. Well, glad you could make it over here to CSUB, and obviously when you came to the States, I mean, Bakersfield, California. Why'd you choose Bakersfield and CSUB coming from Sweden?
I was applying to a bunch of colleges, and the thing that pointed me in this direction, I had a friend who went to UNLV and graduated from there 2 years before I started looking, and he told me to contact their coach. They had a full roster at the time, but he pointed me towards SMU and NC State and some other school. But he also mentioned CSUB and said that Coach Hansen is really good.
Nice.
And so I emailed and got a response instantly, and it kind of rolled on from there.
Awesome. And what's it been like work? I know Chris has worked a lot here in the last several years, really working and building both programs simultaneously. And what's it been like under his leadership the last 4 seasons?
It's been very interesting. It's been very eventful, and it's nice being part of building up this kind of athletic community on campus where we become more prominent in student body.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been really nice being in the front of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I was talking to him actually. I said, as a senior, you need to send me your best memory of Gabriel. And he said last year's WAC championships, you guys had all kinds of flight nightmares and cancellations. And he said he ended up flying with about you and 3 other folks to San Antonio. And he said that was. He said it was an enjoyable time.
We had a great day. It was fantastic. Everyone else had to leave later than us. We got to the Bakersfield airport, got on our little plane. It was our group, had our little layovers. It was just nice, and it was a good day.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and then you guys went on to have a really good swim.
A fantastic meet.
So there you have it. Now you had some success here as well. I was just kind of looking just on some of your, even just this year, a couple firsts and some seconds and really good swims in the 200 breasts and the different 2, 5, or the 1, 2, and 500 frees as well. Give me your thoughts on your season so far and the team's season so far.
We've had a really good season coming back from a little bit of an off year last year. Our freshman class coming in is really stepping up, really filling in the spots, doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm really excited for them to take our places when we're gone, with the seniors leaving. I'm not worried at all about the quality of the team when we're gone.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see what some of these freshmen can do when they're shaved and tapered and really get into a conference meet.
Yeah, and that's coming up, right?
Yeah, it's a completely different ballgame.
So what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks? Because this kind of intrigues me. You've got a few weeks off before the WAC meet. You're gonna swim this weekend at home. So what happens in this time frame? You got like a 3-week buildup. So what kind of happens in this time frame?
It's what's known as the taper.
Mm-hmm.
We have our 7-week or whatever it is winter training camp where we bulk down. We do yards on yards and just get really physically strong. Mm-hmm. And mentally strong. And then we get into this period before conference where we ease the load on our bodies and we focus more on technique and sharpening up all of these little details. So we got all the endurance and everything in the bank, and it's time to just make it better.
You guys
sharpen it up.
You guys are great because I heard about your winter trainings, and you guys are nuts. Like I'm telling you, no wonder you're always in awesome shape. I mean, it's like you never stop. It's insane.
No, there's no off season in swimming.
Yeah, that's the life. Now, academically, you're still a computer engineering major.
Yes,
and you're gonna graduate in the spring with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, are you still planning? Your bio says you're planning on a master's in embedded electrical systems engineering.
Yes. That is
that's awesome. I don't even know what that does, but it sounds cool.
It's an interesting education. If I'm trying to stay in the U.S., trying to get an internship or a job over the summer and see how long it can last me.
Yeah.
And if I find a really nice employer, I can go back home to Sweden for 2 years and get that master's and then come back, hopefully.
Wow.
So they can sponsor me to come back.
Embedded electrical systems engineer. That sounds pretty awesome. It sounds important, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, it sounds really important. And finally, you're what will you probably take away from CSUB the most as a senior? What do you take away your most enjoyable part of the time?
My team, college athletics, being part of this experience that I never thought I would. Like college swimming was something that came in as just like an idea in my head 7 years ago. And then I looked more into it and I got more excited about it and being part of a team. Because in swimming, in Sweden, swimming isn't a team sport the same way. Here, it's you compete for your team and you go to practice with your team every day. It's a very individual sport on the other side of the ocean.
Yeah. Well, and you guys do it. The team thing is better. No one does it better than you guys. That's for sure. So, hey, well, congrats on a great career. Good luck both this weekend and in a couple weeks at the WAC Championships. We'll be following along closely.
Thank you so much.
All right, Gabriel Bertrand here on Roadrunner Rundown, folks. We got to step away and get out of here because the show time is over. Next week, same time here on Bakersfield.com, and of course, get the show anytime online at GoRunners.com as well. Make sure you vote for Rowdy. Make sure you get him at least out of the first round in the Wacky Awards. He's up against Bucky the Bronc. Fine mascot from UTPA. But I don't know. I think Rowdy just needs to win that first round matchup. So go to the website, GoRunners.com, and like Rowdy's picture via the WAC Facebook page. The link is all up there. And, of course, like I said, archive editions of the program. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/CSUB Roadrunners, on Twitter and Instagram at CSUB Athletics. Next week, we'll get into the spring sports as we preview with softball coach Chrissy Bug Ziegler and Corey Versus returns. It's a big treat. We'll catch you next time. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.